Advertising Archetyping. Ad archetyping. How to choose the right archetypes for the role in your high-performance advertising. Watch all about it right now. You're on the Brzhechko&Nobody channel, where everything is about pharmaceutical advertising. I'm Evgeny Brzhechko, an experienced advertiser and marketer in the field of pharmaceutical marketing from Ukraine. Here to share with you the secrets of creating advertising for pharmaceutical products, advertising that sells. I have put a lot of effort into developing my approach to creating ads based on analytical psychology, and I also spent a lot of time making complex concepts simple. I really hope for your attention and engagement. Many of our fellow advertisers create ads by chance, relying solely on their taste and intuition, almost blindly believing that the more creative the ad, the better it is. This really makes sense for certain categories of products, but not for pharmaceutical products. Perhaps that is why there is so much ineffective advertising in pharmaceutical marketing. This is the fifth video of the first section of my course Shoot It Right. This section covers the basic principles of creating advertising. In the following sections of the course, you will learn how to shoot ads properly, set up lighting and frame the scene, select actors and directors, color grade the video and add voiceovers, how to effectively place pharmaceutical advertising in the media, and many other secrets and tricks to enhance your qualifications and professionalism. Whoever you are, a brand manager at a pharmaceutical company, a director, a cameraman, a creative director, a copywriter, or simply someone interested in the art of advertising, watch my videos. Feel free to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, share with your friends, and don't forget to join our Facebook community and visit my website if you want to know about advertising like never before. You will find all the links in the descriptions of the video. In previous videos, you learned about psychological archetypes. These are the universal entities of our psyche that directly influence our decisions, and they are the true viewers of advertising. In simpler terms, the task of an advertiser is to satisfy these archetypes in the viewer. That is, our task is to influence the human unconscious, which fortunately for us is universal for all people. Let's recall that in male psychology there are four archetypes: the king, the lover, the warrior, and the magician, or magus, each of which in turn can display its shadow side, turning into negative shadow forms of the archetypes. How does this look in practice? A fully psychologically mature man manifests the energies of these four archetypes in their fullness. However, if one of the archetypes is suffering, not fully developed, then a man will exhibit the shadow sides of the deceased archetype. For example, if a man's warrior energy is suffering, such a man might come off as a sadist or masochist. For us, it's important that during physical illness, whether it's a cold or pancreatitis, even healthy, well-developed psychological archetypes can shift into their shadows. You know that every advertisement for a pharmaceutical product must contain a set of three role entities: the patient, the savior, and the product. We will call this the advertising archetypes. And here is a very important conclusion. Each of the advertising archetypes in an ad must inherit a correctly chosen psychological archetype. So, this is where the process of ad archetyping begins. Advertising archetyping is the selection of the right psychological archetypes for the roles of advertising archetypes in the ad. Thus, the basic advertising archetypes in pharmaceutical advertising are the patient, the savior or the healer, and the medicine. Secondary ones, which may not always be explicitly represented in a separate role, are the disease, death, and the background. In the role of the patient, there must always be a certain psychological archetype in its shadow. In the role of healer or savior, there must be a certain psychological archetype, but now in its healthy energy, in its fullness. In the role of medicine, and this is a whole topic, there must be an alchemical archetype, which we will discuss in a separate topic. The disease is always represented in the image of death, which we will also look at separately. The background can be either shadowy, emphasizing the patient's suffering, or in healthy energy, which can emphasize or confirm the role of the healer. The choice of one or another psychological archetype to embody an advertising archetype depends on the product we are advertising, on the nature and specific of the problem it solves, on the marketing strategy, as well as in the rank of the archetype, which we will also discuss separately. For example, if the problem concerns a purely feminine issue, say menopause, then in the role of the patient we need to choose a feminine psychological archetype that suffers the most from this disease. In this case, it is of course the shadow archetype of the mother. If a man is sick, who in his health manifested the major healthy energy of the king, then during the illness he either turns into a tyrant whose care brings suffering to all his loved ones, or into a weakling who doesn't want to fight for life and does nothing but whine. Who can, in such a case, embody the archetype of the healer? It is worth saying that for the healer, the universal psychological archetype is the feminine psyche's mother archetype, which, as we have repeatedly mentioned, is the embodiment of life, restoration, and rebirth. Choosing the mother psychological archetype for the role of the healer is always the right move. However, in the role of the healer, in this case, other psychological archetypes may also appear. For example, the psychological archetype of the magus, the wise man, the scientist who recommends the product, etc., can also be chosen for the role of the healer. In this video, we will not review all possible combinations of psychological archetypes in advertising. Your task is to understand the principle by which the process of ad archetyping occurs. The full list of archetypes, which I recommend, with descriptions of their healthy forms and shadows, can be found on my website via the link in the description of the video. There you will also find more examples of ad archetyping. Understanding the very principle of ad archetyping will enable you to select the necessary psychological archetype for the role of advertising archetypes depending on the problem your product solves, on the character of the product itself, on the marketing strategy you have chosen, and all the other factors that we will discuss in the future. And in the next video, you will learn about the psychodynamic processes that explain how the influence of the psychological archetypes embodied in the ad affects the viewer. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Join our community on Facebook and visit the website where you will find more information to help you develop and grow in the field of pharmaceutical marketing and advertising. Thank you for watching. See you in the next videos.